Imagine maintaining absolute control over millions of people without using a single soldier, chain, or act of violence. Physical force is inefficient. A weapon can only subdue one body at a time, and relying on violence often serves as the catalyst for rebellion that eventually topples the system. Historically, the most durable empires realized that unbreakable power is achieved through psychological manipulation rather than physical imprisonment. In this population model, a physical strike hits a specific target, a single red dot. But the resulting wave of anxiety radiates outward, infecting the network simultaneously. This psychological seed neutralizes millions, bypassing conflict by convincing individuals that resistance threatens their own survival. Systemic control is achieved by cultivating a society that feels constantly unsafe, ensuring the population prioritizes protection over independence. Public executions in the ancient world were early experiments in mass psychological messaging. The goal was to ensure the witnesses carried the memory of the event home with them. This works because human biology is hardwired to prioritize immediate survival over objective truth. When we feel threatened, our brains stop looking for facts and start looking for safety. Under intense fear, the brain's logic centers in the frontal lobe dim. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the survival center, flares into hyperactivity. When a threat remains constant, the brain enters paralyzing uncertainty. Logic is replaced by a flood of chaotic, unresolved survival signals. This sustained uncertainty eventually manifests as chronic anxiety. In this state, the individual becomes desperate for any external source of stability or order. An anxious brain instinctively stops questioning authority. It views the promise of protection as more valuable than the exercise of independent thought. The mechanics of control have moved from the public square to the digital feed. The goal is identical, but the delivery system is now constant and personalized. The modern arsenal is built upon algorithmic doom scrolling, sensationalized headlines, and the constant curation of perpetual global crises. Constant exposure to these signals keeps the population in a low-grade, persistent state of terror, preventing the brain from ever returning to a rest state. This makes a population highly malleable. When people are distracted by their own survival instincts, they lack the focus required to ask systemic questions about the powers governing them. Modern media ecosystems are optimized engines, maintaining the ancient architecture of compliance by continuously monetizing the human survival response. When fear reaches a critical mass, the governing authority no longer needs to exert effort to maintain order. The pressure is generated from within the population itself. A terrified population begins to view its own rights as obstacles to its safety. They voluntarily surrender privacy and freedom in exchange for the relief that authority promises. Because survival relies on the system's protection, questioning it is perceived as a threat. Neighbors actively isolate independent thinkers. This creates a self-regulating system where the population acts as its own prison guard, fiercely defending the power structure out of fear of its absence. The ultimate success of this psychological weapon is that the individuals within the system believe they are making rational, independent choices to protect themselves. Fear's true power lies in its ability to alter human behavior until we reach the point where we forge our own invisible chains.